There's someone on your mind right now. You know exactly who. And the strange thing is, you didn't decide to think about them. It just happened. Maybe it was a song. Maybe it was silence. Maybe it was 3 a.m. and your mind drifted. And suddenly there they were, as vivid and real as if they were standing right in front of you. You've tried to stop. You've told yourself to move on, to be logical, to focus on something else. And for a few hours, maybe even a few days, it works. And then, without warning, they're back. Not because you're weak, not because you're obsessed, but because something deeper is happening inside you, something your conscious mind has no control over. There is a reason you cannot stop thinking about this person, a real, scientific, deeply human reason. And once you understand it, truly understand it, you will never see this feeling the same way again. Here's what psychology has discovered about the human mind. It cannot rest until things are finished. There's a phenomenon called the Zeigarnik Effect, named after a psychologist who noticed that waiters remembered uncompleted orders far better than completed ones. The moment a task is finished, the brain lets it go. But the moment something is left open, unresolved, unanswered, incomplete, the mind holds on, tightly, sometimes forever. Now think about this person. Think about what was left unsaid between you two. A conversation that ended too soon. Words that were almost spoken. A moment that felt like a beginning but never got its ending. Your brain registered all of it, and it filed it not under memory, but under unfinished business. That's why they appear in the quiet moments. That's why your mind returns to specific scenes. The way they looked at you once. Something they said that you never fully responded to. A goodbye that didn't feel like a goodbye. Your brain is not torturing you. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. Keep the loop open until it finds resolution. And then there's the chemistry involved. Every time you replay a moment with this person, every time you imagine a conversation, revisit a memory, or feel that ache, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical triggered by food, music, touch. Your mind has learned that thinking about them feels like something. So it keeps going back, not out of sadness, out of hunger. You are caught in a loop that your own brain built, and it built it because this person meant something real. But why this person? Why not someone else? Why does this specific human being occupy a space in your mind that no one else seems to reach? Attachment theory gives us part of the answer. From the time you were small, your nervous system was quietly learning what connection feels like, what it means to feel seen, to feel safe, to feel like yourself in the presence of another person. Most people pass through your life and register as pleasant, forgettable, fine. But occasionally, rarely, someone arrives and your nervous system responds differently. Something in you recognizes something in them, not logically, deeper than that. Science now confirms that certain relationships literally rewire the brain. Researchers call it neural imprinting, the way intense emotional experiences carve new pathways into your neural architecture. The more emotionally charged a connection, the more deeply it gets encoded. Think about that. This person didn't just leave a memory. They left a mark on the actual physical structure of your mind. And here's what makes it even more profound. Emotional intensity equals memory strength. Think of the people you've met over your lifetime. Most of them have faded. Not because they weren't good people, but because the emotional charge wasn't strong enough to hold. But this person? The feeling you had around them, whether it was love, tension, longing, joy, or all of those at once, that intensity is exactly why they're still here. Your brain does not hold on to ordinary things. It holds on to what mattered. Some researchers, and this is where it gets quietly extraordinary, suggest that what we call emotional imprinting may go beyond neuroscience. That certain connections carry a frequency that the body remembers, even when the mind tries to forget. You don't have to believe anything mystical to sit with that possibility. You just have to notice. This feeling doesn't behave like ordinary memory. It behaves like something alive. Now here is the part that might change everything for you. When you can't stop thinking about someone, when the thoughts arrive uninvited, persistent, almost insistent, have you ever considered that you might not be alone in that experience? Mirror neuron theory tells us that human beings are neurologically wired for emotional resonance. We don't just observe other people, we feel them. Our brains literally simulate the internal states of those we're connected to. This is why you can sense when someone you love is hurting before they say a word. It's why certain people feel close even across distance. Now consider the possibility, not as fantasy but as genuine inquiry, that when you feel this pull toward someone, it may not be entirely one-directional. Emotional bonds don't simply disappear because physical proximity ends. The neural connection that formed between you and this person doesn't have an off switch. And if thoughts carry emotional energy, if your body is genuinely resonating with the memory of them, then what exactly is the difference between memory and signal? What if the reason you can't let this go is because it isn't supposed to be let go yet? That's not wishful thinking. That's a real question worth sitting with. Because sometimes the mind's refusal to release something is not a glitch. It's information. It's the deepest part of you saying, this isn't finished. This still matters. This still means something. So what do you do with all of this? Not what you've been told. Not distract yourself or focus on growth. Or the exhausting advice to simply move on, as though feelings are inconveniences to be managed. That's not what this feeling deserves. And it's not what you deserve. What psychology actually suggests, and what emotional wisdom confirms, is this. Feelings this persistent are not problems. They are messengers. And the answer is never to silence the messenger. The answer is to understand what it's trying to say. This feeling you carry, this quiet, sometimes aching awareness of one specific person, is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that you are capable of depth, that you don't love or connect casually, that when something reaches you, it reaches you completely. That is not a flaw. That is one of the rarest things a human being can be. So instead of asking how to stop thinking about them, ask what this feeling is pointing to. What did that connection reveal about what you truly need? What part of you came alive around them that you haven't let live since? What is still unfinished? Not necessarily between the two of you, but within yourself, because sometimes a person stays in your mind not to lead you back to them, but to lead you forward into something you haven't found yet. Sometimes they are the map. If something in this reached you, if you felt even for a moment that these words were written specifically for you, then you already understand more than you think you do. Trust that. Trust the feeling. It knows something your logic is still catching up to. And if you want to go even deeper, next time we're going to talk about something even more quietly powerful. Why some connections feel like they existed before you ever met. Stay close.